a ton. Yeah.
Welcome to the Man United stream. Hope you're doing well. It's Monday morning and I'm on a little bit early. Usually I'm on around about 11 a.m. in the morning, but I thought I'll make it an exception and come on a little bit early because it's been a fantastic weekend if you're a Man United fan. Arsenal not getting a win. Liverpool not getting a win. We are kind of enjoying ourselves. United absolutely destroying Man City 2-0. It could have been 5-0. It could have been 6-0. I mean, how many times did we have the ball in the back of the net in the game? I think it was 5 or 6 times. Seriously, I thought VAR had an absolute nightmare. What was it? A finger over on the offside, and that's it. Oh, it's offside because it's a finger over. Anyway, guys, we've got lots and lots to discuss. We've got news coming out on Carrick getting his transfers. Yes, apparently so. Apparently the interim manager is going to get some transfers. We're hearing that he's going into a meeting this morning after training with the board, with Wilcox, with Barada, and maybe even with Jim Ratcliffe to sit down and let them know his thoughts on bringing in any new players. And I hope, Carrick, seriously, I hope you can sit down and say, of course we bloody need new players. Of course we need new midfielders in this team. Yes, Casemiro had a brilliant game and Kobe Mainoo as well against Man City. But let's not rely on just them players. Let's talk about other players as well. Don't just think, right, okay, we're going to be fine. We need to strengthen that team and go again. Go again. I hope Carrick has got the balls to turn around and say that to the board, because the board need to hear it. The board need to hear the fact that the board will take any opportunity to cut costs, to not spend any more money. And for the most part of this January transfer window, they've made it very clear they don't want to sign any players. They don't want to go out there in the market and bring anybody, even if it's 15 mil, 20 mil player, even if it's a loan player. We got the rumours on Friday. I don't know whether it was just Ineos trying to put some positive news out there before the Man City derby game, before obviously they might be afraid that we were going to get battered in the Man City game. So if they put the news out before the game about, oh, United actually are looking at transfers, are going to go in there, and then the news comes out later on that oh, okay, you know what, we're not signing anybody. It's okay, because like I say, the City game was an important game. I do not believe the board was sat there thinking we're going to beat City, and convincingly. That result on the weekend was something else, and it's led me to kind of think lots of different things about United so far. It's led to me, I've had to have a rethink about Michael Carrick and his interim position at United right now. I'm thinking maybe this guy can actually cook. Maybe he can get us into the Champions League. But I'm not counting anything right now. I'm not gonna get carried away. And I urge all Man United fans not to get carried away. Let's just take a game at a time. We're going to the Emirates Stadium on Sunday. It's going to be a massive, massive game. And look, yes, I'm very happy with the Man City game, but I also am afraid of, was this just a bounce back, or will these players come again next weekend? Will they be able to do a job on Arsenal? And that is a massive test. Massive, massive test. Will United be able to go up against a team that's clearly in form, haven't lost in God knows when, and well, they did draw against Nottingham Forest, which was a surprise, I must admit. I thought they were going to actually destroy Nottingham Forest, and they might be even more angry about that and might come out against United with all guns blazing, or it might be the opposite. I did say yesterday it could be either or. It could be, yes, they might have lost some confidence, or they might be so angry that they drew and dropped some points that they might come out against United. And I'm sure Arteta is going to shove some firecrackers up the backsides of them players, because that's what he's like. We know, we've seen it already. Anyway, let's go to the discussion that we started off today's show, which is, of course, transfers. We're in the January transfer window. Do we let this opportunity just go by, or do we go out and sign players? Let me know in the comments below what you think. I mean, some fans might be looking at this team thinking, actually, we might as well just stick with the players and see what we can do. And that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I mean, many of you might believe that we've got a good enough squad to carry on playing these 17 or 16 games now left in the Premier League. We've got no other competitions to be playing for. So do we actually need signings, or do we go out there and take some kind of player on just in case? Just in case. I would rather United go and bring a midfielder in just in case one gets injured. That's all. But other than that, I mean, yeah, look, we've got no FA Cup. That's made a huge difference to my thinking as well right now when I've thought about signings. I mean, right now we've only got Premier League. I think we've got a good enough squad. I think Carrick, if he can get the best out of the players, and we're being told that Carrick is saying, I'm going to get more out of these players. This is just the first step. I feel like I can get more out of these players. And if that is the case, that would be massive. That would be massive. Now, let me go to the news, the breaking news that is that Carrick is going into a meeting today with the board. So he's going into a meeting to discuss the window, transfers, and look, I don't know how much you want to read into this. Fabrizio Romano reported this last night, actually. He's saying that, look, United are looking at the transfer window, are looking at players, but I just feel like this is just to appease the fans. I feel like this is just to say to the fans, yes, look, we are looking at transfers, but we're not going to go and sign anybody just yet. And I feel like it's more likely that we don't sign anybody in the January transfer window than we do. I think if we were still in the FA Cup, I still think maybe, just maybe, we might have thought, right, okay, we need the players. But right now, I genuinely look at it and think, actually, even someone like me who's pro signings might be like, well, do we need them? Do we need them right now? But I've got to say, we've got to Ineos and the board, Wilcox and Barada, have to stop this shit, which is they react to public perceptions of the club. You've got to stop that. You can't rely on pundits dictating what's happening to you. You can't rely on the press or the fans dictating what should be going on. You should know better. You're the ones in charge. You're the ones who are running the show. So you should know better. Stop being reactive. Be proactive. Be proactive in whatever you're doing. So come out and tell us what you're thinking. Stop this shit about, hiding behind the scenes. Stop being the Glazers. We're sick of that shit, man. We need something better. We need better ownership, better leadership, and we need transparency. Come out, tell us what your plans are. Yes, we're going to sign somebody. No, we're not. Stop playing these silly games, man. I'm sick and tired of these silly games about, we're thinking of signing somebody. We're not going to sign somebody. Oh, we're on. What's the public perception today? Oh, right, they're not happy with Ineos. Right, okay. Put out the news that we're going to go and sign somebody. Go on. Okay, look, actually, go and put out a news that we're looking at this loan move and that loan. Stop it, man. Stop it. Just be honest with us. Just be honest with us. We can take it. As fans, we'd rather you be honest. So if you turn around and say, no, we're not signing anybody because we don't need anybody, okay, at least then we can move on. We can move on and start looking forward to, right, okay, what can we get out of this team? Let's move on. Let's kick on. Let's get behind Carrick and let's start playing some football. And look, going off on the weekend's game, it was very impressive. I don't want to carry on glazing over the performance, but it's hard not to. It's hard not to, because that was one of the best team performances I've seen for a long, long time. I mean, I'm going back years now. And I said it to you in the match reaction. It was because of the control. I just felt like United were 100% in control against a very good Man City team who have, completely destroyed teams this season. But in fact, they destroyed us earlier this season with Ruben Amorim in charge. And what you want of that. I mean, I'll tell you one thing, a lot of critics of Ruben Amorim, critics of him getting the sack, have gone very silent, and you weren't hearing a lot of criticism of his sacking of the weekend, were you? I mean, and of course, the Amorim outers were out in force. They were very happy with the result and saying, look, this is what we've been telling you. This is what we were saying. We were saying that Amorim was not getting the best out of the players. For me, it's quite simple. And I'm sure that everyone watching will agree, or most of you will agree, that it's all about playing players in their bloody positions, allowing them the freedom to go out there and do things, allowing them to do what they're good at doing, putting Bruno further up on the pitch, getting in Bumo as that high line, using his pace, getting Ahmad to drive forward as well, Dogu as well, putting pace into the team, just setting up the team. In fact, you know what? I was looking at the team and I was thinking, I'm sure he's playing a 4-4-2 at times, you know that? It felt like he was playing a 4-4-2, and it was almost like how I'd set it up, right? And I'm not blowing my own trumpet here, but I've said many times, if you've watched my EA FC, career mode, I've got United in a 4-4-2, right? And Bumo is playing strike with Sesko. That's how I've done it. And then I've got the four midfielders, right mid, left mid, and then I've got the 4 defenders. That's how I've set it up. You can go and check it. I mean, I was thinking, right, I've got to do another show for another episode of that, because that's exactly how I've set the team up. Anyway, so that was the news on Michael Carrick having a discussion. I think he's going to go in there today and he's going to say, look, I'm fine with what I've got, and I'm happy with that. Let's carry on. Anyway, let me head to the chat. So I'm going to catch up on all the comments, and then we'll head into the next segment of the show. We're going to be discussing Scholes and the fallout from Scholes and Nicky Butt and Martinez, what they said about Martinez before the derby, and obviously Martinez has hit back at Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt. Will tell you what all that saga's about. If you've missed it, you're at the right place. We're going to fill you in. We're going to actually show you the clip of Scholes and Nicky Butt saying what they had to say about Licha before the game. I thought it was, of course, below the belt, but you can decide. Look, some of us, we might agree with them. Because look, before the game, before the derby game, before Carrick coming in, United players haven't really instilled any hope in us. So, yeah, of course, we were all worried about what's going to happen. But anyway, let me go to the chat. Jim, welcome to the channel, mate. Hope you're doing well. And Nish, hope you're doing well. Hope you've enjoyed your weekend. I mean, it's been an enjoyable weekend for Man United fans. Not only watching United in the early kickoff, 12:30 kickoff on Saturday morning, before anybody else plays, absolutely batter City. But then we got to sit back and relax and watch the rest of the weekend's football fixtures, and it was amazing. Liverpool absolutely collapsing, brilliant news for us, and also Arsenal. I just felt like, and look, I felt like we're in there. We're in the Champions League spots, man. That's all we wanted. Carrick is literally the spiritual embodiment of our club. The fact that Sir Alex was there was destiny. The torch has been passed to Michael. I feel and see the United of old, a complete rebirth. Well, look, that niche is high praise indeed. I'm going to reserve judgment, but I do believe that, watching the game on the weekend, it felt like the old United. And if you know what I mean, if you've watched old United, you know what I mean, right? It was just attacking football. Every time we got the ball, we were just all over City, and City did not have an answer. It was really, really enjoyable. I'd say no signings. Let's not rock the boat. Yeah, that's it. That's what I think most people would end up saying now. Yeah, I think so too. I think, well, yeah, do we need them right now? We're already kind of struggling to give every player game time, and we saw Kuna, who was left out on the weekend, and he came on, but again, it's kind of weird to have him come on. Sesko was still on the bench, so I think rotation might become an issue if we're bringing in more players. Let's wait until the summer and get Gomez and Baleba. Cass will leave in the summer, and Bruno going as well. after weekend's performance, I swear I was like, oh my God, can we afford losing Bruno? But then I don't want to get stuck on one player either. I'm scared that the owners are waiting for Arsenal game and thinking if we beat Arsenal, we don't need signings. That is short-sighted. Yeah, look, that is it. I think Ineos and the board have just generally got a problem, and this is the title of the show today, which is stop this behavior, you idiots. Behave like you're running the show. Know what you're doing. Have a proactive approach. Have forward planning. Stop being reactive to everything you see and hear and watch. Why are we doing this? Why are you doing this? Why per game are you watching a game and then reacting to it immediately after? No. Look, we should not be waiting on the Arsenal game to decide whether we need signings or not. Either it's yes or no. Make the call. Just do it. Sit down with Carrick and decide, right, okay, yes, we need signings. No, we don't. Leave it at that and move on. This whole bullshit about, watching Arsenal, the game against Arsenal, seeing if Carrick cooks again. And if he doesn't, yes, we go in and we panic buy somebody. No, that's not the way to do business. You either know you need players or you say, no, we don't need any further players. Please, Wilcox, I like midfield and Neves, Loftus-Cheek, Anderson, Adeyemi to United is better for next season. Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek was the mystery player, apparently, that United were looking at to loan. But we did break the news to you on Sunday that that's actually now down by the wayside. No one's talking about that anymore. Mainoo was invigorated. We don't need anyone right now. Ugarte would work in this Carrick setup. Yeah, look, one thing is for sure. Carrick coming in and playing a different formation has made everyone fit in again. And that was a problem. We were discussing needing a midfielder, needing this player, needing the wing backs, because under the formation that was being played by Amrin, yes, we needed more players, new players, better players. Under this current formation, under this system that Carrick's playing, I argue that you probably get away with it. You don't need the signings that we were looking at before. The midfield looked solid with Casemiro. I felt like he had his best game. Now, that's not a coincidence. He had his best game, and you could even see Pep at the end of the game grabbing Casemiro and having a chat with him, because even he knew, wow, he had actually a good game. But is that because he had Mainoo next to him? That's the other question that you've got to ask. Is that because he had more bodies around him? That's the difference. That is, for me, a huge, huge difference in the performance against City. Ugarte can do what Cass did in this formation, tight, compact destroyer, keep his job simple. Yeah, that's it. Because it's compact, the midfield has got lots more bodies in there. And even the formation that, like I said, when I was watching it, I could see Ahmad coming back, tucking in tight, same thing with Dogu. So we were playing a tight midfield, and I just absolutely enjoyed watching that, man. Finally, I got to see a game where I knew, right, okay, we're not going to get walked through. Otherwise, we'd get shafted. We'd get wrecked by every team, man. Every team would come and just walk straight through the middle, man. But, oh my God. Oh, just thank God that I hope Amrin was watching it. I hope he was. And look, and this is nothing against Amrin. I've liked Amrin. Right, I've always been an Amrin, inner or not inner, but I've always liked Amrin. Although I did at the end of his saga say, look, I think he's walking himself out of the job. And I said I've been saying to everyone, look, Amrin needs to change his tactics, his formation, and if he's not, he's going to get the sack, and that's exactly what happened. Amrin was a fraud, and he's been shown to be that now. Yeah, look. That's it. That's exactly what everyone's saying. Everyone is saying, look, Amrin has been called out. For those people who've been saying, oh, Amrin this, Amrin that, the performance on Saturday showed that we do have the players. And if he just cared to change the formation around and system around, if he was flexible enough, and most top managers are. Now, Carrick hasn't played this formation always. He hasn't played this. He changes it around Every top manager changes things around. This league is all about defensive block and explosive pace up front and with legs. Yep, exactly. Yes, but what happens if we don't get any signings? If these players start underperforming, and make no mistake, they can, and we miss out on Champions League, fans will say we missed out because of January. Yeah, that is the biggest danger, man. That for me is my biggest worry. So that's why I've said to you at the start of this show, like, look, I'm reserving judgment. I need to watch a few more games with this team and see if they're actually, because could be another light switch on and light switch off moment for us, right? We've seen this in the past where United turn up and we think, oh my God, we've turned a corner here. And then next game, bang, we hit the brick wall again. However, I must say, that on the weekend's performance, it was different to the performances that we've had where I've thought, okay, we've turned a corner. That performance was very, very different for lots of reasons. I can't go into them all, but I just felt like United looked just settled, and I felt like there was more to come from United. There was more to come. I thought United they were good, but they could be better. So that's why I thought, right, okay, do you know what? This is different from all the times previously where we've seen United and thought, right, okay, do you know what? Something's good cooking here. Players all have decent level on the ball these days. Physicality, pace and desire, all that matters. Scholes and Butt, legends, great players, but shit pundits. Yeah, I'll come to that actually. Whilst you've said that, let's go to this segment of the show, right? Okay, so you might have heard there was a lot of fallout on the weekend's game. After the game, Licha obviously was interviewed. There was discussions about him being short once again, him not being good enough. He's had it since he came to United. I don't know what he needs to do to prove himself, but he's had that from day one. And what made this worse is Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes on their new podcast. I'll tell you one thing, they're not holding back. They said some things about Martinez, which went viral prior to the game. And, well, Martinez then answered them on the pitch. Let's watch the comments first made by Scholes and Nicky Butt, and then we'll go from there. Let me just put this on for you guys.
You know that new manager kind of lift. I can see United beating City.
I could see him beating City with Amarin. I don't think they're anywhere near what they have been. They're amazing standards to get to. Don't get me wrong. They're just something about them. I still don't think they're quite right.
If they get the injuries back, as in like Maguire, Delit, and them kind of players, we've got a chance. But I just feel with the younger players at the back, they've done brilliant. By the way, Heaven's been unbelievable. To be fair for his
and
age.
They are only young
kids.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't like to see him against Haaland.
Martinez against
Haaland.
You need Delit and Maguire back for that.
Pick Martinez up and run with him. It'd be like, you see a dad after school.
He'd score, then throw him in the net.
Running down the road like with a little... that's what it'd be like.
I take it back, everyone. He's got a point. You know that new manager kind of lift.
Right, so you heard it there. He's like, oh, Haaland can pick up Martinez and run with him like, whatever, like a dad or whatever he said. Look, that was below the belt. Even when I watched that, I was like, well, no, look, we know Martinez is, he's got something about him. Yeah, he might be short, but he's a no-nonsense type of defender. And he's done enough to say that he can handle himself on the pitch, let's be honest. So for Nicky Butt to come out and say that, I thought was well below the belt. I watched this prior to the game and I was thinking, well, this isn't exactly... Look, whatever happens on the pitch, whatever happens against City in the derby, you don't start criticising or you don't start like talking negative prior to the game, right? That's my golden rule. You've seen me, guys. I will be whinging about left, right, and centre things going on at United. This is not right. That's not right. Ineos of this, Ineos of that. This player's playing shit. That player's playing shit. Manager's doing this. Manager's doing that. But come game day, I will be 100% behind the team. Because I know, look, anything can happen out on that pitch. And yes, we need to instill confidence in them and make sure that, they can go out and perform. Licha, coming back from injury, he's not had the best time under Ruben Amorim. I think he's one of those players alongside Mainoo who was probably the most relieved to see the back of Ruben Amorim. Licha, it's not secret, didn't have a good relationship with Ruben Amorim. In fact, we heard rumours about him squaring up to Ruben Amorim just a month or two ago when he wasn't being allowed to return to the first team. And Licha was like getting frustrated, saying, why am I not allowed to come back? Why am I not allowed to come back? And Amorim's excuse at the time, we're not sure whether it was or wasn't. Amorim's excuse was, Licha, you need time to come back. You can't just come back. But I feel like it was more to do with Licha being just not the build that Amorim wanted. And that's why he kept him on the sidelines and he preferred someone like Haven or Yoro to come in. That's what I feel like. But I feel like Carrick's come in and Carrick's looked at the players and thought, right, who's got the most experience? Who can I actually rely on, to not make any mistakes in this big game? Because it's a fine line between making mistakes and losing or getting things right and winning. That's what big games are all about. You need big game players. So he's gone with Harry Maguire, who, let's be honest, in the big games, he turns up. Yes, he's not good consistently every week, but I feel like if you use him carefully, like I believe Carrick will, I think Harry will do the job for us. And then Licha, of course, we've seen the guy, man. We've seen that he can handle the players like Haaland. He can, every time you doubt him, this guy comes out and proves us wrong. How many times do we need to be told Licha's height makes zero difference? He wins all his high balls. He goes in there. He does not pussyfoot around. And I love that about this guy. We need more Lichas in the team. We need more warriors. We cannot be like saying, oh, yeah, do you know what? Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt, like Jim said, legends, but they are absolutely shit pundits. And I agree with that. I think some of their comments, I think that they live on cloud cuckoo land. It's like they're not watching United. I feel like they're still stuck in their past. I feel like they're still stuck in the team that they were playing, but they had it all easy. They had Sir Alex Ferguson, they had David Gill, they had all the protection that they needed when they were playing. Right now, in the current United team, the players haven't got that anymore. Players haven't got a manager to protect them. And so you've got to, completely take yourself out of that situation. Jim, I'm confident players will perform under Carrick. They felt how good it was to be a real Man United player and win the United way. Yeah, look, players always want the freedom to play football and enjoy it. And I think that's what you saw on the weekend. Players enjoying playing for United. And that was the first time at Old Trafford where I've seen the team play like there's no pressure. Seriously, every other time I've watched United play at Old Trafford, I felt like they're just nervous. But not on the weekend. That's why I feel like something pivotal has been changed. Within 3 days of Carrick walking in, he's done something, said something, set them up in a certain way that has clicked together. And if I was Carrick, I'd carry on, man. I'd carry on doing exactly that. Ahmad can play in the Bruno role. He's good as Bruno. That's why we can have Mbeumo a right wing and Dogu left wing. I hope you're right, Nish. Me too, Jim. But for Saturday is different now, completely different. Look, it has been different. It's been completely different with what we've seen. I've seen everything I need to see, Jim. That's the game for me was absolutely perfect. Yeah, for me as well, man. For me, one game I know it doesn't get us to Champions League. Jim, I agree with you. We've got to keep our feet on the ground. We've got to be a bit more careful. We've seen this before, but that game was different. But I want to see it again. If I can see another display like that against Arsenal, I'm not bothered about the result. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not bothered about the result. It's one of those games where I feel like, right, okay, has it come a bit too early? Arsenal game, would you have liked Arsenal to be spread out maybe in a couple of weeks when we've seen Carrick a bit more? But then again, I want to see United against the very best. I want to see United against the very best, because if we were playing some other team, like if we were playing Burnley, for instance, and Carrick took over that game and we destroyed Burnley and we scored 2-3 goals and we put in that kind of shift against Burnley, I would not have been convinced. I wouldn't have been over the moon like I am right now, because doing that against City is completely different. And that's why I'm feeling like, yeah, this is different, guys. This was not against a lesser opposition, although there could be a counter argument to that, which is that we've done pretty well against the better opposition this season. It's the lower oppositions or the teams that we're expected to win against, the teams that sit back deep and defend. It's those teams that we struggle against. We do pretty well when it comes to going on the counter. If we beat Arsenal, my target will be top 4. If it will be Arsenal, because the gap will be 12 points, and I know they are capable to do always drop points in coming for the title. Yeah, look, I think Arsenal could be there for the taking. So disrespectful. I believe that's for the Licha comments made by Scholes. I feel like they just want to boost them, saying such things, nothing personal. All right, yeah, Pavel, that could be a good point as well. I mean, yeah, we might be looking at it from the wrong point of view. I mean, it might be that Scholes and but are looking at it thinking, yeah, look, let's kind of put a cracker up their arse, right? Let's put a firework up their backside and get them to actually prove us wrong. And who benefits from that? Man United benefit from that. If Licha comes out and performs the way he does against City, who benefits from that? Of course, United do. And maybe that is a ploy. Maybe that's why even we hear Keane come out and say what he says, because he's thinking, right, okay, there's two approaches, the carrot and the stick, right? So I guess Nicky Butt, Scholes, Keane, they're using the stick approach, and people like Carrick and like Solskjaer, and Gary Neville, they use the carrot approach. So you've got to have a difference. Yeah, it could be that. So good point there, Pavel. But just agrees with Scholes. It's an echo chamber. Yeah, but you see that. You see how they agree with each other. It is funny. It's interesting. The comments are interesting because they're coming from a different viewpoint, and I enjoy watching it. But I also know that, look, their viewpoint is not necessarily always right. I've realised how that Amrin was a complete and utter fraud. Licha is literally the butcher. Yeah, man, Licha, for me, he's one of a kind. For me, he's as close as we're going to get to an out just ruthless player. I think we need more of him in the team. But should have remember and learn from Carragher that what he said, he had to eat his words, and so does Butt. I love our legend, but does look like a butthead. Yeah. Look, he is. I think they are. They're doing it for the clicks. Look, it's the new podcast. They need to say things controversial. They know that that's going to get the clicks. They know that everyone's talking about it. Even if you've not heard of the podcast, after Licha calls out and Scholes, you're probably thinking, right, okay, what was this podcast? Let's go and check it out. Like, what was it, man? Because this seems pretty crazy. We blasted that Shirky. What a turkey. He said he wanted to kill us. Idiot. Yeah. There was fallout of that. I saw clips of that as well. The Shirky thing coming out saying, oh, look, you know what? I'm gonna kill United. When he was at Lyon and we beat Lyon, he was clearly not happy. And then he came out saying, look, yeah, I'm gonna join Man City and I'm gonna beat them and blah blah. Another actually clip I saw was Noel Gallagher. Now he said some comments as well, which I found right. Okay, look, I guess he's gonna say these things, and it was before the game, and I just thought, wow. Like at the end of the game, I thought, I wonder if he's watching. Let me put that on as well, actually, because you might have not seen this clip. This is Noel Gallagher, and I think he's on
United.
Talk Sport.
As a City fan, obviously, we'd like to see them go out of business. And if I'd have known back in, a few years ago that you could buy a football club without spending any of your own money and saddle it with debt, I'd have bought Man United and turned it into a fantastic car park. But speaking as a neutral, the league needs Man United to be strong. Do you know what I mean? Because when there's only two teams going for the title and there's only two teams who can take points off each other, every game has an air of inevitability about it. So we need a strong United and strong Liverpool and strong Newcastle and strong Villa and Everton and all that to make the league more interesting. But United are in it's laughable chaos, and long may that continue. The difference between the two clubs is as simple and fundamental as this. Man City are run by football people.
He's got a really good point here, by the way.
United are run by business people. And Man City, thankfully, have an owner who doesn't run the club for profit, even though we make a staggering amount of money. And United, from what we see and read in the papers and all that, is run on penny pinching and trying to balance the books. And that doesn't work in the modern age.
Yeah, look, that for me, there's some really interesting comments he's made there. Now, I don't agree with some of the comments, but some I do agree with. The ownership, I agree with. I was fascinated with that. I was fascinated because, of course, obviously he's having a laugh at United, being taken over by the Glazers. But again, he kind of makes some really, really good points there as well in terms of, if you could, I didn't know you could buy a football club with complete debt. And then, I could also, agree that the difference between Man City and United is quite simple, he says. It's because we've got the City have got owners who are footballing people and care about football. They don't care about profit. And United, of course, they've got businessmen who care about profit. And yeah, man, it is bad news. It's bad news for us. It's bad news. But look, let's remain positive. Let's hope that we can somehow see the back of the owners, hopefully in the near future, or else, we need. I'm hoping that, obviously, when it comes to putting the money down for the new stadium and things like that, they don't have the options available, and they have to then sell. They have to sell, and they have to bring in money some other way. But anyway, let's look at the other news concerning Kobbie Mainoo. Now, Kobbie Mainoo was a player that we all were talking about leaving in the January transfer window. I mean, it was all over the news. We did several shows about it, saying Kobbie Mainoo has requested to leave, is moving to leave, is pressuring United to let him go, wants to play in the World Cup, wants to be featuring for England, and he's going to do everything in his power to leave. But suddenly, in the middle of the January transfer window, the point when he was meant to be leaving, we're hearing that he's not going anywhere. And that, for me, is music to my ears, because I have been saying for some time that Kobbie Mainoo there's a player there, guys. There's a player there, and I've been siding with him a lot. Look, even when he did that whole T-shirt thing with his brother, and I was still thinking, right, that's a stupid move, a silly move. But I really like Kobbie Mainoo just as a midfielder. I think he's really, really talented, and I think he can be a superstar for us in the future. And happily, Carrick agrees with that. So that's good news, man. So we got Kobbie Mainoo, and Carrick said something on the lines of Kobbie is a fantastic player. He has huge talent and has huge ability. He has played in some unbelievable occasions and coped with it. I'm looking forward to seeing him thrive. I mean, this is brilliant. This is brilliant. This is what a change of manager can do. This is the positive side of getting rid of a manager and bringing somebody else in, someone with a new perspective, someone who can come in and say, actually, the players that you've sidelined are actually good enough to play, and they can do a job. And Kobbie Mainoo, Licha, these kind of players have come back, and they're loving it. They're loving the fact that they've got a manager who actually likes them, who actually can see the role that their players see, that they can actually put in a shift for us. For me, that's really, really important, man. I feel like we need more. We need more players who are confident with their own ability and they can do a good job. And a special mention to Bruno Fernandes. I mean, guys, what a performance this guy had. What a performance Bruno Fernandes had. I've been a critic of him as well. I know some of you have as well. But wow, Bruno Fernandes, man, he came on and his performance was insane, man. His performance was insane. He was absolutely cooking for us, man. He cooked for us. What can I say, man? What can I say? Everything he did, everything he was doing on the pitch was cracking. Every pass he made was insane. Everything he did, every time he touched the ball, what did I said he had the Midas touch, man. Everything he was touching was turned into gold, man. Everything. Look, I know there's a danger of him leaving at the end of this season. There is a real danger, and I would say this pass was insane, wasn't it? What a pass that was. It's just sensation. Look at that, man. Look at that. I mean, put it on a plate for him. And if that was a striker there, seriously, that would have been a goal. That would have been a goal. Look, for me, yes, there's a danger of losing him. I think he's still going. I still feel like come end of the season, I think he's going to think, look, I want experience something different. He's given most of his peak career to United, and he's going to be like, right, okay, let me go and experience some other football somewhere else. And I think he will leave. Even if we have a decent season, I think what he will probably be looking at and thinking, let me get these guys into the Champions League football, and then I'm gonna jump ship. And I wouldn't blame him. At least we can fill our cup. Yeah, exactly. In relation to a Man City and Noel Gallagher's comment. Yeah. Do you know what? I saw some Man City fans arguing the other day with United fans, and it's quite simple. Stop arguing with these idiots. Stop arguing with them. Just tell them one thing. Just shut them up. They can barely fill their stadium. That's everything you need to know about Man City, man. Arguing whether we're the same as Man City and which one's a bigger club. Like, do not even get into that argument. Like, you don't get into an argument like that. We already know the answer, which the bigger club is. Which is the bigger club in the city. Noel Gallagher is a wannabe Tom York. He always puts a Radiohead down because he's simply incapable of making music as good as them. Man United are Radiohead and City are Oasis. We're sophisticated cerebral club. They're just goons. Ineos are learning from the job. They always make wrong decisions. Gave Ten Hag the new contract, then sack him. Bought Ashworth from Newcastle, then sacked him, and then brought in Amrin and then sacked him. Yeah, I think that is the crux of today's show, guys. For me, the worry is not Carrick, not the players now. The worry is, will these idiots who are running the show behind the scenes, will they be able to keep their fingers off the button? Will they be able to not make the wrong bloody decision? Because what I feel like they're going to do is they're still going to try and do something stupid, because this is what they do. They react to certain segments of the fan base, certain pundits. We've seen that they listen to Gary Neville, and I don't want Gary Neville to be pulling the strings from a distance. I want these guys to be running the show. They're the ones there. They're the ones working with the manager and the coaches and the players. They should be making the decisions based on what they're seeing and what they're hearing and what they're listening to and what the stats are, not Gary Neville or somebody that they think knows what they're talking about. No. So look, let's hope that they can. There's a constructive meeting today. Let's hope that they can actually decide on, yes, we need players, or no, we don't need players. Put a line through it and then go again. It's going to be a massive, massive game against Arsenal. Of course, we're going to still probably be hearing lots of news concerning United and transfers, because it is the January transfer window, and we always know whether United are looking for players or not, we get linked to every Tom, Dick and Harry. That's just the way it is, because we're a huge club and agents use that against prospective clubs. Oh, Man United are also looking at him, so if you want to sign him, you better do it now, or United are going to come in and swoop in. That's always been the case. It always will be the case. I'm hoping that we can go and sign somebody. I still feel like we still need somebody. Yes, we haven't got a lot of games. Yes, we've got a decent squad, but I still feel like if we want to guarantee Champions League football this season, which is imperative, we must go out there and bring in reinforcements just in case we need them. And hopefully we don't. But at least we've got the option there. I've said it from day one. Just go out and get some loans. Just go and get some loan moves, bring them in and help them. Help Carrick, help the players. Kobe Mainoo, Casemiro, we don't know. Look, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, touch wood, that they carry on playing good football and we don't see any changes. One thing I really enjoyed also in the game was we didn't see any massive changes in the team. We didn't, as in the substitutions, we didn't see him break up the back two centre-backs as well. I'm sure Licha and... Did Harry Maguire come off? I think he might have come off because he's just coming back from injury, isn't he? So, but I just felt like the changes that Carrick made didn't disrupt the team's flow and they just carried on playing and in fact improved it somewhat. I mean, the changes he made, and Mbeumo he took off, again, really good move. I hate it when managers simply think, oh, I'm going to keep Mbeumo out there because he's scored a goal. No! If he looks tired, take him off. Bring somebody else on. Same thing with Bruno Fernandes. We finally got to see a manager who can take him off when it's the right time. Yes, Bruno gives it his all, and yes, he's a great player, but at times like that, he gets tired. Bring him off, put on some fresh legs. And that was the best thing about watching United on the weekend. And hopefully, going forward, we can. Look, we're going to discuss Arsenal in later shows this week. And yeah, it's a big, big task. But I don't know, man. I'm feeling confident. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I want to thank you, everybody. Jim, Sandil, Nish, who else was there? There was some Pavel. Pavel, was it Pavel? I think it was. And Temez as well. Everybody, thanks very much for your comments. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you subscribe before you leave. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks very much.